into the cloud. Okay, ladies and gents.
After says that, a thing pops up, says leave meeting or got it.
Make sure Rick is muted there.
And they say that.
Okay.
Push got it.
Okay, good. All right, welcome you all. It's Thriving Thursday, and you know, the time is really starting to move, as you all are experiencing pretty quickly. This is coming up on the end of our second week, and network marketing. I saw this somewhere. It's the accelerated game of life. Maybe it was in Mach 2. I think Richard Bach said that, but not Richard Bach, but Mach 2 with your hair on fire. And because it's the accelerated game of life and network marketing, we're like dog years. You know, like a year in network marketing is like 7 years in regular life, because you can collapse time frames, because you can do things very quickly in a short period of time. There's a level of intensity, there's a level of emotional and energetic engagement that can fuel you, or it can aid you depending upon how you're responding to the circumstances that you have to contend with. So every day it means something. Every day weighs something. So what you do or you don't do, it counts for you when you're talking about how you're stacking your days. So one thing I want to do really quickly is do a review. If you could give me a couple of takeaways from yesterday's call and what we were talking about, and in terms of the vision aspect, beginning with the end in mind. Any couple of takeaways that you got, and perhaps something that you may have actually implemented from yesterday's call as it pertains to your success in your business. You can type it in the chat or you can unmute. Don't everybody go at once.
Hey Ed, this is Edward Gary
Yes,
from Dayton, Ohio.
How you doing, brother?
I'm wonderful, and yourself?
Excellent.
Yes, sir. The first thing that comes to mind is when you shared about the vision yesterday. Many years ago, in a dream, I was given that, and I didn't understand or knew what it meant. But since it's been very helpful just using that simple formula and realizing that there were people that had better skill set, better educated than I was, but I had the vision. And so I've attempted to just share that vision with people. And it's been very, very beneficial to me for over 20 plus years. So that really stuck out to me yesterday.
Cool. Thank you, Edward, for that share. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Murray, go ahead.
Yeah. Yesterday, I took note of comments made in regard to action-based outcome, and then to also focus on the process, you know, understanding the process and begin to focus on the process actually makes it happen.
It's good. That's good. I'll take it. I'll take it. So a couple of things that this is another T. Harv Ekerism that he was the first person I heard say this. It's been said a million times since then. How you do anything is how you do everything. So process is how you're showing up with regard to the activities, with regard to the call, with regard to your participation. Like everything you're doing is setting a tone. So how you show up on the call, how you show up in terms of being present and participating, everything that you do sets a tone, because it's an energetic thing. So there are people that are going to respond to how you're participating or not, even here, that you haven't connected with yet, that you haven't gotten on the phone with yet, that you haven't even met yet, because you're sending out a specific energetic pattern. So it's about being deliberately intentional towards that focused outcome each and every day. So nuts and bolts, I want to talk about the success triangle. So if you would, I want you to get a piece of paper and I want you to draw a triangle on it, okay? Grab a piece of paper. I want you to draw a triangle on it. This is called the success triangle. The success triangle. And on the bottom left, you're going to put I, C. The letters I, C. So bottom left, it might be in reverse, on the screen that I'm showing it to you, but bottom left triangle, IC. IC stands for internal conversation, internal communication, internal conversation / communication. How do you talk to you about you? And when you're programming that conversation, it comes from the story that you have cultivated, that you have born from. So, for example, I did a movie called Inside Man. This was many years ago. And when I auditioned for the movie, I auditioned for a role that didn't exist because of my relationship with the director. So I was improvising this whole scene. Got cast in the movie, and we all sit down on day one for a table read. And we're sitting around reading through the script, and I'm looking at Denzel and Clive Owen and Jodie Foster and Christopher Plummer and people that I have a great deal of respect for. And I'm just enjoying the table read of this script. Now, from the table read to the very first day of shooting, guess what? The script changed. There were some things that were tweaked, some things were removed, some things were added. By the time we wrapped on the film, the script had gone through different changes. And there was input, not just from the main writer of the script, but there were additional input from some other writers and actors. Now, when you go to see a film, you're looking at a finished product. Obviously, it wasn't someone just sat down and wrote a script and then it was off to the races. It goes through a lot of changes. If you were to read the original Rocky script, the original Rocky script was horrible. It was garbage. But the seed and the essence of what it could be was within that initial draft. And some of you, when you look at how you talk to you about you, you're moving from a story that has parts to it that just don't serve you. Some of it is based on negative self-talk. That's a very easy pattern to develop. Some of it is based on some habits that you have grown accustomed to. And so when ego starts to come into the story and it's too heavy, the ego begins to speak to you in a way that oh, I know this already, or I've done that already. And so then your ability to grow and learn and have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, it becomes compromised because of the story that you're living from. So part of your internal communication and conversation is really about how am I talking to myself each and every day. Number one, in an empowering manner. Number two, that is directly in alignment with my outcome, my vision, my focus. And number three, that serves me and others, that I leave myself, other people, and situations better than how I found them. And the way that you cultivate your inner communication and conversation is, first and foremost, you have to identify any parts of that self-talk that is negative, any parts of that self-talk that is self-sabotaging, any parts of that self-talk that's going to get you off track. And you have to have a pattern interrupt. You got to stop yourself in the middle of a crappy thought. We call it stinking thinking, right? So you catch yourself in the midst of, wait a minute, not, hey, this person, I'm a little little nervous about calling this person. They may not want to hear from me again. No, let me reframe that. I'm very excited to be calling this individual and giving myself and them a chance to experience something brand new. That's just a quick pattern interrupt. I replace that initial thought with something that's empowering, that gets me closer to my outcome. I call that person and they have no interest in what I'm wanting to share. They don't even want to talk to me because they're just over me. And so they hang up on me. And when that person hangs up, instead of saying, oh man, like I'm going to get this a lot because I've turned off some people and people might think no, I catch myself in the midst of that initial thought, the toilet bowl thought, and I say, hey, that's fantastic. I'm okay. I didn't die. And now I know that I need to prove myself to that person. So the next time I reach out to them, I'm going to reach out with a story of massive success and many, many lives impacted. Check on that person right there. Let me write that person's name down. I'll follow up with my success. Again, I'm just literally catching myself because I'm creating a new habit pattern. Now, here's something I want you to understand. It's one of the most difficult things that anyone will ever do is change. Change is extremely difficult. There's a great book called Change or Die. And in that book, it demonstrates how powerful change is. I'll give you one better. I'm not even going to, I'll talk about that book another time. There's a HBO series called Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but they were on for quite some time. And this is this best exemplifies the point. There was a former Dallas Cowboy lineman that Bryant Gumbel was following and documenting his story from when he was playing and then he retired and what life was like after football. And the gentleman that was a lineman when he was playing, he ate like a lineman. Like he had huge portions. He just ate a lot of food. However, because he was working out every day and he was a high-level professional athlete, his body was pretty muscular. He was in shape. They keep following him. After he retires from football, he continues to eat the same way he did when he was an athlete, but he doesn't work out anymore. He doesn't have a level of accountability around him anymore. He is now surrounded by other individuals who are just as content, comfortable, and lazy in their lives as he has now become. And because of that, his body changes and he gets significantly overweight and out of shape. And Bryant Gumbel says to him, you know, based on what you're doing, you're a heart attack waiting to happen. And he says, I know, man, I know, but I just can't stop eating these ribs. They do another follow-up story on the same player. And 6 months later, he was dead of a heart attack. Why? Because he didn't want to change. It was too difficult for him to change his habits. And so he basically chose a pathway that led to his demise over changing. And this is something that the book Change or Die really highlights. So it's one of the most challenging things that you're going to do is to change. Some of you look at your inner conversation, how you start your day, how you end your day, and you got some work to do. You got work to do. And if you want to do something magnificent here, well, you have to elevate your thinking. You can't rest on what you did, who you were. That was yesterday. It's what have you done for me lately? That's our business. What have you done for me lately? How many people have you exposed in the last 48 to 72 hours? How many applications have you secured in the last 48 to 72 hours? How many individuals have you helped duplicate in the last 48 to 72 hours? That is what our business is all about. It is a proving ground. So what got you here is not going to get you there. There are principles and there are actions, obviously, right? Exposures, prospecting, presenting, promoting. Those are timeless principles that will certainly get you to the dance, but your mindset and your ability to elevate, hold yourselves to a higher level of accountability, that's based on your ability of constant, never-ending improvement and doing those things that are required. Number two, I want you to write at the very top of the triangle, the letters EC. The letters EC. That stands for external communication and conversation. External communication and conversation. So how are you talking to people? Are you talking to people in their language or yours? So there's a really great chart, if you will, and it identifies personalities. Most of you will be familiar with this. I got first exposed to colors probably within, I don't know, 6 months of me initially getting involved in this business. And it was from a gentleman, his name is Jerry Clark. He was a big network marketing trainer in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s as well. And the colors are basic. And these colors, the training has been reinforced. I've been taught it over and over again throughout my journey, and I'm sure many of you have as well. So colors allow us to identify personalities, generally speaking, in a pretty quick way. So you have blue, red, you have yellow, blue, red, green, okay? Yellow, blue, red, green. And when you look at yellows, I'm just going to give you some general things around yellow. We're not going to go into a lot of detail. I just want you to have an outline. So yellows, that's about 35% of the population. Yellows tend to have incredible networks because they're very relationship driven. They're very loyal, loving, caring individuals. Yellows, they will tend to talk a little bit softer and a little bit slower in their tone. When you see them, there's love that's pouring out of their eyes. And when we get together with yellows, it feels really good. And there's a sense of them reaching out and hugging you, if not with their arms, they're hugging you with their presence and their energy. They just have a feel good, very gentle way about them. And the reason their networks tend to be very strong is because there is so much love and loyalty that they bring to the table. Now, yellows are moved by causes that serve the greater good. And when you're talking to yellows and you're sharing this idea, you can really talk about the things that are going to be for the greater good. Imagine us being able to create a club trip that's specifically designed for volunteerism, being able to go into different parts of the United States and around the world just for the purpose of serving other people. It might be working and volunteering with homeless. It might be doing something in feeding people. It might be doing something in building shelters. But when I'm talking to a yellow, I'm going to paint a vision of what I know resonates with their spirit, because a yellow is going to be really good in helping us to develop and curate that type of trip. So that's a yellow. Now, yellows, unfortunately, sometimes because of their gentle nature, they get taken advantage of, they get bullied, people will walk over them like doormats. Now, that happens. However, you don't want to get on a yellow's bad side. You don't want to corner a yellow with aggressiveness, because when they turn, it's like the Incredible Hulk. Like you don't want to see that part of a yellow. They might be soft and gentle, but don't get it twisted. If you get on their wrong side, they're gonna let you have it. Reds, 15% of the population. Reds, I'm sorry, blues. Let me go back. Blues, go to blues. So blues are 15% of the population. Blues are incredibly enthusiastic. They're boisterous. They love to have a good time. They are the life of the party. They are great promoters because they love to talk. Like blues are just excitable and exciting to be around. You just want to be around that energy. Blues are great when it comes to promoting. They're great when it comes to drawing attention. They're great when it comes to having fun. Now, everybody has, each color in them, but there's going to be a dominant trait that you possess. So if I'm talking to a blue, I am going to be focusing on how much fun this whole thing is going to be when it comes to traveling to events, when it comes to getting on calls, when it comes to curating trips. We have this idea, right? I'm just talking to a blue, like, what about if we do a salsa club trip? That would be awesome. Oh, blue's gonna love that. What if we do, something where we're doing creativity? We'll have like an artist come and people can do arts and crafts and we can make stuff, and oh man, that's awesome. Like whatever has to do with fun, I'm communicating that to a blue. So blues really resonate with that. Blues are not really good when it comes to details. If you burden them with too many steps and instruction, and you will lose a blue within 5 to 10 seconds. Like that is not their strong suit. Okay. I'm not giving blues any step-by-step process. I will give blue one assignment. Go out and get 10 people, bring them back for this presentation. Go out and get 20 people on this next call. A blue will do that because they know how to promote a party and just say, treat the presentation like a party, get 10 people here, they'll get it done. So that's a blue personality, not very detail oriented, but they're really great in promotion. About 15% of the population. Reds. So reds, about 15% of the population. Reds are incredibly driven. They're competitive. They love to win. They will do whatever it takes. They will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They just want to get it done. Reds don't want to hear just get to the point. Okay, the club, okay, what's the point? What are we talking about here? How much money can I make? Okay, great. Like they love to just get right into it. So you don't need to spend a lot of time. Now, blues, boisterous, love to talk a lot. They're loud. Reds, they can be loud, they can be boisterous, but they're very concise and to the point. Okay, so they can come off a little bit like a bully sometimes. They can. Reds, they can be a little dysfunctional because they just want to get it done. They don't want to hear about your dog is sick and your mom. No, they don't care about any of that. Look, what does it have to do with the job that we got to do? Like I understand. I'm sorry for your pain, but let's get back to work. So sometimes a red can rub people the wrong way. They love to portray confidence. Doesn't mean that they necessarily have the confidence, but they're very good at portraying confidence. So when you're talking to a red, you can really shorthand it. Say, listen, and Van talked about this the other day. He'll say just a couple of sentences. Listen, I'm getting back in travel. We're about to tear it up. A red's like, bet. What kind of money can I make? Well, bro, you make $370 off of your first sign up, right? Your first sign up, you get the highest pack, that's $370 in your pocket. Red's like, bet, I could do that 10 times today. That's over $3,000 I can make in one day. I'm in, let's go. So red, you can shorthand it. You can challenge them. So you want to get this done? You want to make some money? I bet you can't make 10 grand in your first month. And the red's already doing the math in their head. They already know the upfront money. They're saying to themselves, man, 370 times 10. Well, shoot, all I gotta do is enroll 30 people in my first month. I'll make 10 grand right there. So they're dialed in, okay? And you just have to, you got to manage them a little bit because they got egos that need to be stroked, every now and then. So you got to be aware of that. And then greens, okay? Greens are about 35% of the population. They're very analytical, very detail oriented, and they will notice any and everything when it comes to punctuation, when it comes to the steps when it comes to functionality. Now, greens, they love it when you give them step-by-step processes to follow. Okay, so listen, I'm going to show you how to promote. I'm going to show you and train you how to present. I'm going to show you how to prospect. And if you follow these 3 steps and do exactly what I'm telling you to do, here is the outcome that we can expect. Greens love that. Now, greens can be paralysis of analysis. They overanalyze stuff. They overthink things. And you have to be able to kind of manage that. And a green might take 3 or 4 exposures. It might take them 5 or 6 days to make up their mind. Once they do decide to do something, they really tend to lock in and stick with it because they've done so much pre-work and analysis before saying, yes, I want to be a part of it. So it's a double-edged sword. You got to take the good with the bad, but just understand that's greens. So yellows are non-confrontational. Okay, they don't like confrontation. Greens, they will go all the way around the block to get to a point to avoid any level of confrontation. The greens and the yellows, they're not big fans of confrontation. Yellows are really strong in relationship. Greens are really strong if you give them tasks. They're very task oriented. So they may not be the warmest people in the world, greens, but they're task driven. So you can push those buttons there. Blues are relationship driven, and blues have no issue with confrontation because they're already loud. Like just because they're loud and like to have fun doesn't mean that they can't be loud and confrontational as well. So blues are fine with being confrontational, but they're also very strong in relationship because they like to have fun. Reds are very task oriented, but they can also be very confrontational because they want to figure out, like, what do you know, they will call you out if you're not carrying your weight. They're going to lead by example. They're going to set the tone, and they're very like, let's get this done. Here are the numbers. Here's how we get to 10 grand a month. Let's go out and get it done. So all of us have aspects of these 4 colors in us, and then you have a dominant color, and sometimes it evolves. Now, it's not for you to say you want to have the self-awareness, but it's really for you to have when you're having a conversation with a prospect and you're asking questions. Well, you ask questions in the 4 colors. Are you a systems oriented type of person? Do you tend to like to have a specific blueprint to follow? Or are you more the type of person you're like, show me and I can show me once and I got it? Are you more of like a experiential, you like just go out and do it, like you learn by doing, or do you like to have something in front of you to follow? Do you find that if we're really focusing on serving others and helping other people, is that something that resonates more with who you are? Or are you more focused on how much money can I make in the next 30 days? So I'm asking questions from all the 4 colors to determine who I'm talking to and what their come from is. And then in my head, I notice, okay, they resonate with some of the yellow and some of the blue. Let me make sure I'm focusing on service and having fun. This guy over here, he's all about the steps. This woman right here, she just wants to make a lot of money. So let me just talk to her only in red. So that is the external conversation and communication, okay? Now, the other aspect of it is how you allow people to talk to you. So external means how you communicate with others and what you allow in your communicative space. So you have to have boundaries and you have to have standards. If somebody wants to come into your space and talk about the Kardashians and you're on a run for the next 90 days and you're focusing on getting and breaking as many leaders as you can in your organization, you ain't got time to be talking about the card. Listen, I appreciate that entertains you. I'm not on that right now. If you want to talk to me about how I can identify some more potential leaders and introduce them to this idea, I'm all about it. But right now, I don't have time for that peripheral talk. I love you, but no time for it. Somebody else wants to come into your space and question the efficacy of your opportunity or your level of success or why you're doing what you're doing, you got to put people in their proper place. Listen, if you don't understand what I'm doing, that's cool, but you can't just come and talk any old way about what I'm doing. If you're going to talk to me about it, come with respect. If you want to learn and understand what it is I'm doing, I'm happy to break that down for you. But if you're coming because you just want to do a these subtle little digs, I'm not having that. So just, if you don't have anything nice to say, like my mama said, then just keep your mouth closed. So setting boundaries and letting people know, putting them on notice, okay? And then the last thing in the right-hand corner, technical skills and know-how. Technical skills and know-how. So that's what it looks like.